Young Ryan is in a sexual relationship for the first time in his young adult life.
Get out the way.
I just had
Nice, man.
A few moments later.
Yet suddenly he feels a burning sensation in his pelvic region. Seeking help,
My name is Jeff.
he goes to the local health clinic to find out more about the possibilities that may ail him. You see, STI, or more commonly known as STDs, are sexually transmitted infections and diseases. The difference is that disease is a broad term for ailment, so most doctors prefer the term STI. Like the name implies, one can contract these from sexual intercourse of any kind. Most STIs can be prevented by staying abstinent and not engaging in sexual contact. If one does engage, the chances of contracting them can be reduced by using a barrier method. It looks like young Ryan didn't use protection. Luckily, he was smart enough to realize that, and he needed help, so he headed to the local clinic.
Excited.
Good job, Ryan. Now we only need to determine what specific thing ails him. You see, there are two different kinds of STIs. They can be bacterial or viral. A bacterial STI is caused by bacteria and can be cured with antibacterial medication, while a viral STI is caused by viruses and can only be treated. While some viral STIs can heal over time by themselves, some are permanent and won't go away. Let's take a look at bacterial STIs first. Trichomonasis, a bacterial STI caused from a parasite. It affects about 3.7 million a year in the US, but only 30% know that they have contracted it. It is more common in younger women than in men, and older women are more likely to contract it than younger women, none of which fits Ryan. Symptoms are fickle and may disappear and reappear, but they usually show after the first 5 days. Both men and women experience abnormalities in their discharge, which should be a clear sign that something is amiss. Without proper treatment, trichomonasis can last months or even years. Chlamydia, also known as the silent infection, it can remain dormant for at least 20 years and can affect both men and women. For men, while it is uncommon, testicles may swell, leaving discomfort to the male. It is much less likely that symptoms will show in women. If it goes untreated, men can be permanently scarred in their pelvic region and have sperm defect. For women, they too can experience scarring, and as a result, they can have complications to their reproductive organs. This can lead to many complications for their childbirth. But even though it's silent, you can fight it. Chlamydia can be treated with a single dose of an antibacterial medication. Syphilis, just like an animal going through metamorphosis, it is broken up into stages in its life. It is transferred through open sores that appear during the first stage, and these sores appear where there have been genital contact. Yes, including the mouth, young Ryan. In the second stage, it mimics flu-like symptoms. In its third stage, it has few noteworthy symptoms, and yet it may be the most fatal of them all. Later stages can affect non-sexual organs, such as the brain, the heart, or other organs that aren't sexy enough for intercourse. And finally, gonorrhea. While it may not have a catchy nickname, it is one of the most common STIs. And to make matters worse, strains of antibacterial resistance for gonorrhea have been found, so watch out. Men can find symptoms of swelling to their epididymis, while women can get pelvic inflammatory. If it goes untreated, then it can also lead to complications in the heart. That's what you get when you don't have a heart while making love, young Ryan. Now that we've covered bacterial STIs, let's examine viral STIs, the first of which is HPV, or the human papillomavirus. This is the most common STI. It is so common that it's very likely that any male who is sexually active will eventually contract it. Sounds like a good thing to look into, young Ryan.
I spoke wrong, okay.
But while it can cause warts and bumps in the genital region, it mostly doesn't show any symptoms and often goes away by itself. If not, one can get vaccinated well before it's contracted. Herpes. While there are two different simplexes, simplex 2 is considered the STI. It can lead to genital inflammation in both male and females who partake in the intercourse with the STI. The best way to protect oneself is abstinence. Hepatitis B is another virus that can spread through intercourse or by sharing needles.
Oh, yeah.
It is a resilient virus, as it can survive outside of the body for up to 7 days. Like herpes, one should get vaccinated before it's contracted. Some signs include abnormal pain, such as to the liver, or yellow, darkening color to the eyes. Don't be confused with the yellow-eyed monkey, everyone. Speaking of monkeys, it is time to talk about one of the most infamous STIs there is, HIV, or the Human Immunodeficiency Virus. There was a myth that the virus was originally contracted from a gay man having sexual intercourse with an ape. In other words, he got funky with the monkey. This, however, is an urban myth and is simply not true. It is contracted through bodily fluids, not through tears, saliva, or sweat. And don't even think that you can get it from an insect. This is one bug that you simply can't catch. It is possible to contract HIV at childbirth, so be careful if you plan on having kids, even if it is later in life. Once one has contracted HIV, it is only a matter of time before they develop AIDS, or the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It will result in an overall weakening of the immune system. While it can't be cured, it can be treated with drug cocktails that have various drugs in them to help strengthen the immune system. So, now young Ryan is aware of the risks and danger of an STI.
Aw, yeah.
If you're watching this and have your own concerns about STIs, then become aware by going to your nearest health clinic. If you can't, then go online to seek factual information, but only from a trusted source. Take the advice about the birds and the bees, so that way you won't get an STD.